Good morning. How you guys doing? This Mike back with the thought of the day on um, December 17th, 2024. First, I want to give honor and praise to Ahaya Shor Ahaya Bashem Yeshaya Rowakadash. That's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in Hebrew. Then I like to open with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May your will, not mine, be done. Today I want to talk about humility, which is the theme behind step 7. This came on my spirit to talk about this morning, and it's something that I read in 12 and 12 book, which is a book of 12 steps and 12 traditions of AA. And I just like this talk when they talk about humility, and I can identify with it. So I'm gonna read a couple paragraphs and then give a short thing, but listen to what is said in the paragraph because it's kind of deep. I think other people will be able to relate to it. It says, in all these strivings, so many of them well-intentioned, our crippling handicap had been the lack of humility. We lacked the perspective to see that character building and spiritual values had to come first, and that material satisfactions were not the purpose of living. Quite characteristically, we had gone out in confusing the ends with the means. Instead of regarding the satisfaction of our material desires as the means by which we could live and function as human beings, we had taken these satisfactions to be the final end and aim to life. True, most of us thought good character was desirable, but obviously good character was something one needed to go on with business of being self-satisfied. With a proper display of honesty and morality, we stand a better chance of getting what we really wanted. But whenever we had to choose between character and comfort, the character building was lost in the dust and our chase after what we thought was happiness. Seldom did we look at the character building as something desirable in itself, something we would like to strive for, whether our instinctual needs were met or not. We never thought of making honesty, tolerance, and true love of man and God the daily basis of living. This lack of anchorage to any permanent values, this blindness to the true purpose of our lives produced another bad result. For just so long as we were convinced that we could live exclusively by our own individual strength and intelligence, for just that long we were working faith in a higher power was impossible. This was just even when we believed that God existed. We could actually have earnest religious belief which remained barren because we were still trying to play God ourselves. As long as we placed self-reliance and guidance and genuine reliance upon a higher power was out of question. The basic ingredient of all humility, a desire to seek and do God's will, was missing. For us, the process of gaining a new perspective was unbelievably painful. It was only by repeated humiliation that we was forced to learn something about humility. It was only at the end of a long road marked by successful defeats and humiliation and the final crushing of our self-sufficiency that we begin to feel humility as something more than a condition of groveling despair. Wow. I know that was long, but it was deep because it took me back to the road of growing up and really believing that it was all about me and I could do everything myself and lacking humility. You know what I'm saying? I've probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way up my ladder in terms of basketball and this and that nature, and it wasn't on purpose or anything like that. It was just being insecure and full of pride, using the pride to cover the insecurities and things of that nature, and the fear. You know what I'm saying? So you walk around and with your chest pumped out. You never had anybody to really sit down and show you the value of humility. You know what I'm saying? And it takes to go down and crash for you to be broken, for you to get the humility needed to be at work for God. You know what I'm saying? So throughout my life, when I was running around, even when I was going through that situation, I turned more to myself than God. I turned more to trying to dive into what I wanted, into my lust, into my desires, than following what God wanted me to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking that it's taking me to greater heights, but it was really bringing me down to deeper valleys that I had to crawl out of to get God to help me out of later on. But as I kept going and going and going away from him, he had something to use me for, so he had to crush me. He had to crush me first. And by being humble, I had to get crushed. And once I got crushed, he was like, all right, now you're humble enough to work for me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times in our lives, if we don't take that heed when he sends that crushing blow for us to be humble and come work for him, he ultimately lets us destroy ourselves. So I'm glad that I was able to jump off of that boat that was about to crash and destroy myself, and really be humble enough to go work for him and do his will for whatever he wanted me to do. And it's what I'm into now, working with these kids and doing the things that I needed to do. But I definitely was on the self-reliance. I definitely thought the material desires and the things that I needed was the reason I was living, because that's what was put in front of my face. That's what was put in front of my face growing up, seeing all that what money could buy and what success could buy and what doors that needed to be open could get you into certain places, and all of that is put in front of my face. But when I think back at it, that's the same thing that Satan did to Christ. He put all those things in front of his face. You know what I'm saying? And Yeshua was wise enough and had the spirit to be able to say, nah, Satan, I'm following what my Father want me to do instead of what you want me to do. And that's the true test for us in life. And I'm glad when the Most High loved me enough to have me broken, to break me, so I could get to the humblest state to be able to go work for him. So this is a little bit about humility, and check that book out. It's called The 12 and 12. You could order it or get it at any AA meetings. It got a lot of deep stuff in it, man. So this is Mike. Enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom.